Hi guys, Alex 2.0 here, and I'm going to review the movie Slither, written and directed by James Gunn. And James Gunn is a director I'm not the biggest fan of. Super, I hated. That was god awful. Super with Rainn Wilson, and it's pretty much I call it the poor man's Kick-Ass. That's what it is. Um, and James Gunn, he did an ensemble film I'll get to in another review. It was awful. I'll get to that later. Um, Guardians of the Galaxy, I think it looks good, but it is weird. But I think it could be good, so you can turn it around. But Slither was his first feature film, and I just recently saw it for the first time, and I would say it's all right. It's okay. There was some stuff I liked about it, um, but pretty much the movie's about just, some alien creature just from space just goes to Earth, lands, and it's a horror comedy. It's a B film, so I get that kind of tone. One I do like some of those movies like that, but this one pretty much the alien meteorite thing land on Earth one night, and pretty much the movie's just about Michael Rooker from Walking Dead. That's Daryl, but you know you'll know him from Walking Dead pretty much. But he's been in other stuff, Mallrats. Can't think of other. You've seen him in many movies, but he's pretty much the main. Not really main character, but he's one of he's one of the main focuses of the movie. Him and his newly wife Elizabeth Banks and Nathan Fillion, who's like the guy. I think he had a crush on Elizabeth Banks when they were younger, and he never got a chance to be with her, pretty much. But yeah, Michael Rooker, he has. If you've seen Slither and the way he looks in the movie, I can almost guarantee that the makers of Breaking Bad got inspired by him, by his look in this way. Because let's say Bryan Cranston wasn't available for Breaking Bad when it started. I say Michael Rooker, because he's got the Heisenberg look in this movie, bald, glasses, kind of creepy, but yeah, I mean he pretty much one night he wants to get it on with with Elizabeth Banks. They're married, so it's fine. But she's not in the mood, and he goes out there to a bar and meets this other woman, and they go into the forest. He's about cheating on Elizabeth Banks, but he says no, and then they find the alien meteorite, and he's poking at it, and it just shoots out this thing in his chest. He gets infected, goes back home. He just has the craving of raw meat. And I would say that some of the practical effects were pretty good, and you see the thing in his chest coming out. There's some CG and then some practical effects, and I would say the practical effects were pretty good in this movie, old school style. But so yeah, I mean, pretty much, he one day he pretty much rapes the woman he was with at the bar, and she gets impregnated with all these worm like things. She gives birth, and they all spread out across the town, and it becomes chaos in some funny ways. So there are some funny parts about the movie. There's character, the mayor. I think he was the mayor of the town, and he has some pretty funny lines. Where there's a scene where a teenage girl is explaining because you know one of the worm thingies almost got in her mouth, and for a second she saw what what the worms see, like in their where they came from and whatnot and stuff like that. Excuse me. It's starting to gross me out. But yeah, she's explaining like kind of the where they came from and why they even are on Earth, because they're just there to destroy planets and shit like that. And she explains everything, and the mayor says, "Wow, would be the lines goes like, I would be fascinated if I didn't have to shit my pants," something like that. It was pretty funny. And it's weird because like the mayor, like, I don't know how I mentioned Breaking Bad, but this movie inspired Breaking Bad because you got Michael Rooker, who has the Heisenberg look, or what inspired Heisenberg look. Elizabeth Banks, she's just a better version of Skylar, a much harder version of Skylar. And the mayor of this movie, he's very similar to Sal Goodman, the sleazy lawyer in Breaking Bad. So you got three characters. I'm pretty sure were inspired by, were the inspiration for Breaking Bad, the Breaking Bad character. So no, there's no Jesse Pinkman character in this movie, but I thought that was kind of interesting. But pretty much, there's some let's see, gross out moments in this movie. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Like, ew. But sorry, I have kind of a weak stomach sometimes about these movies. But I mean, it's not bad. It's not a bad movie. It has its funny parts, and one thing I really liked was how if they get infected with the worm, they need to go inside their bodies. Pretty much they pretty much get controlled. Like kind of like a old school, alien flick, I guess. Where they pretty much, since Michael Rooker was the first one to get infected, he's pretty much the main villain of the movie. Anyone else who gets affected, they all start acting like him. So they all, there's a scene where like you have a bunch of characters that all get infected, and they're all talking like him and talking to Elizabeth Banks like, "Honey, why can't you love me?" And it was kind of the idea was really interesting, I thought. But and then like the third act I thought was kind of it wasn't great, I'll say. And so yeah, I mean, I really don't have much else to say. Is that, but I'll give credit to James Gunn. He has an interesting style, I'll say, to his films. The humor, sometimes I'm not the biggest fan of, but he definitely has his own style of filmmaking. But Slither, I mean, it's not for everyone. Like I said, I thought it was just okay. It has some funny parts to it, but pretty much alien invasion, B horror, film, B horror comedy film. So if you're really into that stuff, I guess I would recommend it. But I don't know. I thought it was, if you're wondering what I'm doing this, I don't know why. But I thought it was okay. It's not bad for his first film. I just haven't been a fan of his like later work. But so yeah, the cast did a good job, I would say. I like the cast. But it's just that I wasn't so crazy about the entire film, I would say. But it's alright, I would say. It's not a movie that I would rewatch again and again. If it's on TV or something like that, maybe I'll check it. I'll see it again, see some parts. But it's like one and done kind of film for me. But that's it. Those are my thoughts on Slither. Okay movie, all right. But And stay tuned for my next couple of reviews. I'm pretty excited for it. See you guys later. Adios.